Straight ahead on 12 News, a Golden Valley man's passion blooms in Minneapolis.
And this is actually really fun to do because it's really, really big and splashy.
Plus, plans for a new destination library in Brooklyn Park. But first, a soggy mess for area homeowners.
What are we going to do? That was the first thing.
12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Now that the rain is finally settling down, homeowners are digging in to fix flooding problems.
The rainfall total since Saturday night is staggering. About 4.7 inches of rain has fallen in the Northwest Metro. The average rainfall for the entire month of April is 2.6 inches. As Sonia Goins reports, all this rain has caused one big mess for a family in Brooklyn Park.
Just excessive rain coming into the house and, flooding the floor, and it's just been chaotic for us. It's just been one thing after another. I don't have any experience at this.
Antonio Love is still trying to figure out what to do about the water that keeps coming into his daughter's bedroom.
What are we going to do? That was the first thing, I don't know what to do about it.
6 days of rain has saturated the rugs and walls.
Shop backing up the water, trying to dry the carpet, trying to dry the padding and everything of that nature, and it's just been a nightmare.
Last year, the exact same thing happened, but Antonio thought he had fixed the problem.
We tore out this much of the wall. We dug up the outside of the house and realized that there was a crack in the foundation where the water was seeping in.
Antonio went on a search-finding mission to see where the water was coming from.
Yeah, I don't see anything up here, so.
He looked up.
It's just crazy. The gutters are all clear up here.
And he looked below, and that's where he found the problem.
This is the corner that we dug up. We dug up all the way to about this part of the house right here.
Now, this corner of the house is where they believe the water is coming through. It's still damp, and there's a plastic tarp to prevent any more water from coming through. Right now, Antonio and his family are still trying to determine if the insurance is going to cover the cost.
It seeps from the outside about here, but it starts to settle into the house right around this area, and then it spreads.
If you have a standard homeowner's insurance policy and the water is coming into your basement, let's say, through your foundation, through cracks or through seepage, that is not covered by your standard homeowner's insurance policy. You have to have a flood insurance policy to do that.
No matter who picks up the tab, this job is going to be costly and time-consuming. Antonio had to remove the drywall. What he found wasn't pretty. The bricks and studs were wet.
I'm just at a loss and I don't know what to do. I have no clue what it's going to cost to fix.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The Insurance Federation of Minnesota recommends getting flood insurance even if you're not in a floodplain. And here's something many homeowners don't know. You can also get more protection by adding what's known as backup of sewer and drain endorsement to your policy. So if your sump pump breaks, you'll have some coverage, and that costs about $30. It is a little chilly for boating meantime, but due to the heavy rain, no wake rules for boaters are in effect on Medicine Lake in Plymouth. The county sheriff's office will begin enforcing the rules on Friday. No wake rules require boaters to slow down. They were put in place to protect shoreline when water levels are unusually high.
The Minnesota National Guard has approved a new support network for local veterans. Crystal, Golden Valley, New Hope, and Robbinsdale are now part of the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon campaign. The four-city partnership joins Plymouth, Brooklyn Park, and Maple Grove as Beyond the Yellow Ribbon communities. The distinction helps provide soldiers and their families with additional support services in the cities where they live. Well, think back to 1976 and think about how much has changed since then.
And that is the year Brooklyn Park built its library, and since then the community has not only grown in size but also in diversity. After years of discussion and community input, Brooklyn Park is now closer than ever to getting a new library to meet its needs. On the site of the current Brooklyn Park Library, a community gathers to get a glimpse of its future library.
This will be a 21st century library.
It's been years in the making to get to this point. Design plans are now ready for the more than $20 million facility that will be built on 6 acres of land along 85th Avenue across from North Hennepin Community College.
It's been a great process. We started with a task force that was selected by Hennepin County and included members from the community. They set a big vision for us that was world geography, technology, engineering, the STEAM program, and really made us think big.
The new library will reflect those community-desired themes in a space that will be nearly 3 times the size of the current library.
We are a little tight on space for the number of people that use the library. We have K through 12 homework help 4 days a week and adult homework help 1 day a week.
The new library will have designated spaces for the community to gather, including a digital media lab for teens and an early literacy area for kids under age 6. Officials are still looking for more input from residents.
We're inviting community members to step forward and help plan what happens in the new library.
Among those residents gathered this week, early reviews are favorable.
It reminds me somewhat of the Maple Grove Library, which is a beautiful facility, and I was hoping we would get something just as nice here, and now we are.
The new Brooklyn Park Library will open in 2016.
A first-of-its-kind garden tour will help benefit the Plymouth Library. You can tour gorgeous gardens around Plymouth, including the ones designed by Heidi Highland of Heidi's Lifestyle Gardens. Tickets for the tour go on sale Friday at the Plymouth Library and at Bachman's Garden Center in Plymouth. The cost is $10, and all proceeds benefit the Plymouth Library. The tour will be held Sunday, June 22nd. Coming up, a Golden Valley man takes part in one of the most colorful events of the year.
It comes at a perfect time. We'll show you where next. And then later in sports, John Jacobson has details about a new conference for a pair of local private schools.
But first, the forecast is looking better. It may actually feel like spring again soon.
If all the April showers have you dreaming of Mayflowers, we've got a story for you.
Yeah, there's a place you can go right now to see flowers as works of art. 12 News reporter Shannon Slatton shows us how a Golden Valley man has created his own masterpiece.
It's like a chaotic spring storm
It's just an adventure.
that blows up every year
We never know what it's going to be like.
outside the Minneapolis Institute of Arts.
There's several tours coming in.
And it predictably comes before the debut of one of the most popular exhibits.
The lobby is filled with people. It's just kind of an exciting place to be right now.
With care and precision,
We're up on the other side.
artists navigate the crowd
We have to figure out how to get up the stairs.
with their masterpieces.
I'm just going to wait for them to bring everything in.
For Frank Bolander,
I can do that because I'm the boss.
it's passion, not pressure, behind his creation for art in bloom.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to put all of this together. So for me, it's one of the really special things that happens in the Twin Cities every year.
And every year for the last 8 years at his Golden Valley floral shop.
You look at the flower will tell you where it goes in the arrangement.
Frank begins with an idea.
I'm just going to start. There's nothing else I can do. I don't tie myself to too many specifics.
This year, the theme is green.
I see a blank space and my brain fills it in.
But it's not quite an open canvas.
Anything that we bring in doesn't give off, shed pollen.
No pollen, no fruit, no feathers.
Everything that goes in needs to be fresh.
Nothing that might damage the art.
My goal is to completely hide all my mechanics.
Plus, these flowers need to last nearly a week.
I'm always conscious of not necessarily what it's going to look like today, but what it's going to look like by Sunday afternoon.
For a floral designer who is every inch the artist,
I'm a painter with flowers.
hours of donated time and flowers
We have to try and guess where everything goes,
all come together here
fill in the holes so that everything is perfect.
as art that complements art itself.
It's just a burst of spring in a beautiful setting.
In Minneapolis, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Wow, Art in Bloom is at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts until Sunday, and it is completely free. And you can see Frank's exhibit in the pop-up gift shop. Did he say the flower will tell you where it goes?
I think it does.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to
Pretty
listen.
cool. Yeah. Coming up, a standout student with a laser focus in science.
But first in sports, a close battle between Champlin Park and Armstrong in boys lacrosse. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
John Jacobson with Sports Now, and here to explain what's happening with two new conferences in our area, kind of an interesting alignment of schools.
It is, and last week we talked about the expansion of the Northwest Suburban Conference, a couple more conferences now changing, and a new conference is coming into play next year. The Metro West Conference is one of those. They debut in the fall with 8 teams, including Cooper and Benilde St. Margaret's. Then, in addition, the 6 teams of the brand new Independent Metro Athletic Conference begin play, including Breck and Providence Academy. We talked with Providence Activities Director Kurt Yeager about the new league.
Well, we're excited about the new IMAC conference, which will begin play the fall of 2014. We had a situation this fall where 6 members of the Tri-Metro ended up withdrawing, and have subsequently formed a conference together. And we're excited about the opportunity to partner with some like schools in terms of our academic day and our commitment to being prep schools and what that might mean for how we operate our athletic programs in the evening.
The Tri-Metro had grown quite large. Wasn't that part of the issue for a lot of the schools, not only for Providence, but for the schools that withdrew? You were up to, 16 teams?
That's right. With the addition of 3 new schools and the Tri-Metro going to 16 conference schools, it became apparent to all of us that in a number of sports you couldn't even play a single round and play everybody once in a conference. And we just felt that those numbers, along with the discrepancies in enrollments and sizes of the schools, it was just time for us to seek independence first, and then ultimately the 6 schools that withdrew came together. All of the 6 schools that withdrew, Blake, Breck, Providence, Minnehaha Academy, St. Paul Academy, and Mounts Park, are all independent schools. We're all also our college preparatory schools. So we have a very similar focus in terms of the day school and how we're going to operate and the value we're going to place on that.
Final question about the new conference. Are you excited about building new rivalries, even though you've been in with these teams before, but now getting a chance to see many of them maybe twice a year?
Yeah, I think that there's some natural rivalries there already because of the schools and their missions, but the opportunity to play twice, the opportunity to be playing schools that should be competitive matchups in terms of our size and just where we've kind of been traditionally in the last maybe decade, should hopefully increase fan interest in games and provide some really fun rivalries moving forward.
Brooklyn Center High School will be the lone remaining school from the area still in the Tri-Metro Conference after this spring. The Champlin Park and Armstrong boys lacrosse teams each are expecting good seasons, and they're off to solid starts too. They met up at Armstrong Wednesday. Second quarter, this one, the Falcons down 2-1. Micah Ness taking the pass, turning and scoring. That ties it up at 2. But the Rebels get 2 quick goals. Dylan Fettig scores on the bounce shot. Champlin Park leads 4-2 at halftime. Early third quarter, 5-3 Champlin Park. Josh Malcolm, Jordan Maximek snapping in the goal for Armstrong. And then the Rebels answer. Tic-tac-toe passing. Justin Linderholm fires in the goal for the Rebels. Armstrong hangs around in the fourth quarter, but Champlin Park gets 2 quick goals. This one a nice individual effort by Nick Bundy for the goal. And Champlin Park goes on to win it 9-6. The Twins and Dodgers battled through a rainy, cold game Wednesday night. While virtually all high school baseball games in the area were postponed, the artificial turf at Minnetonka's Veterans Field did allow Wayzata and Minnetonka to play a game. Bottom of the fourth inning, runners on the corners for Tonka. On the pitch, skippers Brendan Broviak breaks for second. Jake Marsh's throw skips past the shortstop, and Luke Pedersen scoots home for a 1-0 lead. Top of the fifth, the Trojans strike back. Brendan Brody on third. Wayzata tries to squeeze. Kyle Haskamp misses the bunt, but David Cushing's pitch skips away from the catcher. Brody scores to tie things at 1. Sixth inning, Wayzata takes the lead. Marsh with a fly out to right. Jack Sorensen scores in the sacrifice and put the Trojans up 2-1. The bottom of the inning, though, after Cody led off with a triple, Ian Cody, it's Broviak coming through with a triple of his own. TJ Nicholson, the courtesy runner, scored. And then 2 batters later, Josh Falk with a towering shot to left that keeps carrying and over the fence for a home run. And that 2-run blast put the Skippers up 4-2, and they go on to win by that score. Makes it a little more fun when you win.
Yeah.
A night like that when it's that cold.
Great home run.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, a standout student at Wayzata High School who's already doing amazing things in science.
And what he did to help a nationally renowned university when we come back. Two local students learned today that they are each receiving 4-year scholarships totaling $16,000. Nastya Popova of Brooklyn Center High School and Amy Yang of Park Center are 2 of 10 students selected for the scholarship by the Medtronic Wallin Scholars Program. They will be honored later this month at Medtronic's Fridley headquarters. The scholars are chosen not only for their academic records, but for their community service and extracurricular activities. Many students spend their summers working part-time jobs or enjoying the great outdoors.
But today's standout student from Wayzata High School opted to do scientific research in New York in the field of optics and laser physics. Here's Delane Cleveland with his story.
No, these are beakers.
Welcome to chemistry class at Wayzata High School.
But basically making a glow-in-the-dark solution and testing different catalysts.
To the untrained eye,
swirl that vigorously.
The subject matter could look very much like a foreign language.
It says to add 3 portions to each of the test tubes.
Yet for Kevin Zheng, this class puts him right in his element.
I just really loved how science could describe how the world works in such a universal way.
This 18-year-old senior has a passion for science.
Can you see it, Kevin?
And he turned that passion into a prestigious research opportunity at Stony Brook University in New York.
I saw that they didn't really have a pulse laser available, and a pulse laser is just a special kind of laser which emits pulses of light instead of a continuous beam of light.
So he decided to use his knowledge of lasers, which he gained through a previous mentorship at the University of Minnesota, to actually build a pulse laser for Stony Brook.
I guess people think it's pretty interesting, pretty cool that a high school student is able to get this far.
He detailed the process in an online journal.
I teach a lot of really advanced motivated students, and he stands out even in that group.
Kevin's teachers, meanwhile,
and you'll mix the chemicals in there. And
praise his problem-solving and critical thinking skills.
He's very analytical and insightful, so when we're talking about things in class, his mind's always turning.
Meantime, Kevin's resume isn't limited to science. He also has an online portfolio of his other passion, photography.
I don't really do this research or my photography or website stuff just because it looks good on a college application or a resume or something. I really do it because I truly love what I do.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Next year, Kevin will attend Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, where he plans to study electrical engineering and computer engineering. So anytime you're worried about the future, think about kids like Kevin.
That's really remarkable.
Yes,
good for him.
So savvy.
Yeah.
That's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Community Corner is coming up next, and we'll see you again tomorrow.